A school lockdown. The two words that send shivers down the spine of students, teachers, and parents alike. Lockdowns signal a crisis unfolding inside the assumed safety of school walls. An intruder roams the premises, police swarm the building, and terrified students hide inside darkened classrooms. Lockdowns transform schools into prisons, learning into survival. Today we'll hear true tales of danger and dread from those who endured the horrifying reality of school lockdowns. The following 5 stories detail chilling brushes with potential attackers, missteps that allowed evil ingress, and the enduring psychological trauma borne by all forced to crouch in fear, awaiting salvation or slaughter. The Imposter Teacher. Our first story comes from a substitute teacher working in Austin, Texas. Subbing often means less structure, but as we'll see, the unfamiliar led this teacher to jeopardize countless innocent lives. I wandered the empty halls towards the teacher's lounge, anticipating a quiet break before my next class. Nearing the lounge's back exit, I heard a firm knock. A clean-cut man in khakis and a black jacket smiled through the glass door, asking me to let him in. He said he was Mr. Abrams, a teacher who forgot his ID. His right hand stayed firmly pocketed. I had an odd feeling but disregarded my instinct and let him inside. Mr. Abrams strode off swiftly down the math wing hallway. His peculiar gait stirred my doubts into alarm. I rushed to my laptop, looking up school faculty. No Mr. Abrams taught here. I called the office at once, reporting an imposter within our building. The school instantly initiated lockdown procedures as I peered down the hallway, heart pounding. Then I heard it, frenzied kicking and deranged shrieks echoing from the math wing, the same direction Mr. Abrams went. A male voice at full fury. "Maria, open up, I know you're in there." Maria was the teacher I was subbing for that day. Police swarmed in and restrained the intruder in minutes. Rumors flew regarding motives. Maria had called in sick earlier that week. Turns out the raging man was her ex-husband, likely seeking murderous revenge. My blood turned to ice, realizing I had welcomed this madman inside. By luck alone, no shots were fired before police seized the vengeful ex. But the near miss haunted me. Had I not questioned letting in Mr. Abrams, how many could have died that day? What carnage might I have unwittingly enabled? It pains me knowing my negligence almost allowed an armed stalker to roam free inside our school. Going forward, I resolved to always err on the side of caution, no matter the inconvenience. One must never assume benevolence from the unknown. Monsters often disguise themselves in the clothes of men, all the more easily to prey on the innocent. The Camper Stalker. Our next account comes from a college sophomore living on campus in Massachusetts. She recounts the night she received a harrowing text blast warning of an armed threat roaming school grounds. Yet the true terror was still to come when face to face with the menace outside her dorm. The alert flashed on her phone as she walked back to her room after dark. Armed man approaching females, making crude threats. Campus police were already on high alert, searching for the offender described. The student quickened her pace, skin crawling, as she sensed a figure walking not far behind. A tall man in an oversized winter coat passed under a light. Likely another student, she assured herself, ignoring her instinctive unease. Safely back in her room minutes later, a sudden loud bang on her building's outer door made her gasp. Peering out the window, she saw the same shady man from earlier now pleading to be let inside out of the cold. Claiming he lived on the 3rd floor, his inability to provide his room number provoked the student's suspicion. She refused his requests to enter. The shadowy figure, flying into a vulgar, threatening rage, was the last straw. The petrified young woman swiftly dialed campus security, reporting an encounter with the searched-for armed intruder. Mere moments later, a look outside made her erupt in blood-curdling screams. The ominous trespasser was staring back through the glass, grinning and making vile gestures while chanting the vulgarities again. He disappeared into the darkness just as police arrived. Though the prowler eluded capture that night, the sight of him at her dorm window would haunt the student forevermore. The hallway predator. The next harrowing tale occurred years prior in an elementary school. Teeming with that naive childhood defiance of rules, a second-grade boy nonchalantly grabbed the class bathroom pass and left his art room alone without permission. While transgressing school protocol would typically warrant mere reprimand, this day's timing saw the impulsive action carry far graver consequences that could well have cost the boy's life. as the child unsuspectingly sat in the stall. The school's PA system blared out the horrifying words, "Lockdown in progress, this is not a drill." Panic flooding his veins, the frozen second grader stood paralyzed outside his locked classroom, the school eerily empty and quiet during the crisis. Attempting to walk back, sudden approaching footsteps behind him made his heart drop. An ominous figure emerged from the shadows, beckoning the child to come with him, supposedly guiding him to safety. Trustingly beginning to follow, the innocent lad was spared abduction from this mysterious predator by the cries of his teacher calling out his name. Wasting no time, she grabbed the confused boy into her art room just before the situation certainly would have taken an unthinkable turn for the worse. Though spared physical harm by his teacher's heroic actions, the trauma of the experience would indelibly mark the student in ways not immediately visible. The once minor transgression of impulsively leaving class turned into the deepest regret and lesson of his early life. Rare is the action without consequence. The Armed Intruder. This next tale of terror takes place in a high school band hall along Mississippi's Gulf Coast. Set for drama from the start, an unsuspecting percussionist blindly opens the outside door for a knock without checking who's on the other side, defying strict protocol. In walked ominous fate wearing the guise of a disheveled middle-aged man. The intruder offered a thinly veiled excuse for his presence, coming to check his daughter out of school. The band director immediately asserted that parents don't retrieve students from the band hall, directing the shady visitor to instead go properly get his child from the front office. Inexplicably ignoring obvious red flags, he then proceeded to give precise directions, guiding the stranger further inside rather than firmly back outside. In those nightmarish moments, the true danger of the situation sank in for one student standing a mere 15 feet away. The creepy man had both hands tucked inside his hoodie, concealing bulky weighted objects in the front pocket. The petrified teen took cover behind his upright base as the tense intruder shuffled past into the school halls. The band director swiftly initiated lockdown. As chilling rumors emerged, the prowler had just committed a nearby armed robbery. Video footage later confirmed the man wielding a handgun when arrested inside the school by racing police. By grace of luck, no shots erupted that day from the concealed weapon of a man the director himself welcomed into their midst. But the emotional damage of facing such trauma would linger long in memories of those present. Many students grew resentful, even confrontational towards the once respected band leader, for recklessly putting children at risk with his misguided, sympathetic gesture. The Religious Fanatic. Our final story relates the experience of a Catholic elementary class enduring terror when a religious extremist intruder appeared outside their locked door. It began much like the frequent drills they'd rehearsed. The principal's voice came over the intercom announcing an actual lockdown was now taking effect. Students laughed and chuckled, oblivious to the coming horror about to arrive, wild screams echoing from nearby hallways, steadily approaching closer. The children turned silent and wide-eyed as the frantic cries of the school's foremost nightmare neared just outside their room. A lone, rage-filled man was audibly chanting while banging violently on their classroom entrance, condemning the kids for their faith. Vulgar threats and accusations carried through the door. "Your God is dead. Jesus didn't die for your sins." As small children wept and shook in terror, their teacher tried consoling them, while the self-appointed executioner of innocent souls continued his vicious verbal attacks just feet away. Mercifully, police swarmed the area swiftly, putting an end to the traumatic ordeal. But tender youthful hearts don't soon forget violence of this magnitude. Though spared bodily injury, one wonders if the religious scoldings of this madman dealt wounds to the student's budding spirituality itself. Clearly, these 5 bone-chilling testimonials confirm that danger lurks ever near the boundaries of schools, seamlessly blending with the backdrop of innocence. Layered security plans get tested continually by the crafty, cruel, and criminally insane elements prowling society's periphery, seeking soft targets to carry out their malicious schemes. Schools stand as microcosms of civilization's order, making them prime targets for chaotic forces plotting anarchic upheaval. What we learn today also spotlights the fragile line separating order and chaos in what should be safe havens for youth. Teachers and students so often take the sanctity of the school environment for granted, when in reality only a single locked door separates nurturing education from barbarism and bloodshed on the worst days. This unsettling truth rears its head in times of crisis. When seconds count amid violence, lives depend on proper protocols faithfully upheld by all involved, from faculty to the children themselves. Viewers, have you endured lockdowns firsthand? Found yourself unexpectedly unsafe behind school walls on what began as just another normal day? Please share your astonishing stories in the comments below this video, and make sure to like the video and subscribe the channel.